We're getting there. Welcome to Bros Talking Soccer. It's a European UEFA Extravaganza. My name is Dave. I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt.
Your guys' jerseys make a lot more sense.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
What the hell are you guys doing?
All right. Christian, hello.
Hello. Matt going, oh, was a great part of your intro. Just completely interrupting.
Fantastic. Well, that's fine. So there's Christian. He's the other guy in the Liverpool jersey. I'm Dave in this Liverpool jersey. Matt, say hello.
This is Matt in my Hanes t-shirt. Pretty sure Hanes makes this. It's a large, solid fit, plain t-shirt. I like these. It's just me.
Michael Jordan wears Hanes, right?
It's just what I do. I'm just a plain tee guy.
All right, so we're way off the rails here. If you're joining us live on YouTube, hello, welcome. If you're watching in the future, hello from the future, and hope you're enjoying
hello
life.
From the past, actually.
No, because I'm in the future. I plan to be there. When you're watching this, person in the future, I'm there with you.
Wait, hold up.
Very creepy.
Christian, what time is it there?
What?
What time is it?
10:15.
Dave, what time is it where you are?
7:18.
Oh my God.
I'm in the future.
Yeah.
Christian's in the future.
That's how that works. So it's going to be a silly one, guys.
This is fun.
Holy shit. Yeah, this is fun. All right. I need to remember to do everything that I'm supposed to do. I already said the comments, and I think we're just going to launch into the podcast. I guess we'll do 2 segments. Yeah, probably just do the Europa League first and then Champions League second. Does that work?
Cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any live listeners?
Not right now. I didn't tweet about it because you guys really wanted to get things going. So if you guys
got some new followers.
All right. Well, if you want to recruit people, that'd be fantastic. Matthew, what are you saying?
To do the podcast or to?
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, to do just to hop on right now?
To get people to follow.
To do the legwork for us, and so we only have to show up and read off a script.
I did a legwork
because you guys do so much other than the podcast, other than just show up. Christian, I do appreciate you being more involved in Quick Hit Pits, though. I appreciate that. Matthew, what are you trying to say?
Wow, I guess I didn't help out with the Women's World Cup video today.
You did a great job. Thank you for doing that.
Dave gives us no credit at all.
That is not true whatsoever. I appreciate you guys being here. Things are way off the rails at this point. We have some viewers. Hello, people. If you're joining us, please say hello. Interact with us as we go along here. Chime in with your thoughts on what happened in the Europa League and what you think is going to happen in the Champions League. With that, let's get into the podcast. Guys, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bros Talking Soccer UEFA Extravaganza. My name is Dave Knittel. I'm here with my two brothers, Christian and Matt, to talk about what's happening in American and European soccer. But today, again, we are focusing on what's going on in UEFA. Christian, hello. How are you doing?
Hello, David. I am just fantastic. It's my second podcast of the day with you. So what can be better?
That is somewhat true. This is your second time speaking with me. The earlier thing we did is a YouTube video.
It's
actually not a podcast.
It's podcast adjacent.
Yep. Who are you, Mom? You don't understand what the difference between a podcast and a video is?
Wow,
Matthew.
I'm going to tell Mom you said that.
Matthew, hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Dave. This is my second podcast with you today, so I'm excited about that.
Matt,
I just can't believe you'd start this podcast by bad-mouthing our mother. This is just insane.
Matt is spot on. So Matt and I did do a podcast earlier. I am a little bit tired because I have done lots of stuff and have been editing all of that. So guys, I'm going to try to bring the energy. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I'm loving this energy here, and we're going to get into it. Before we do,
it's about time we get some credit around here.
Yes. Before we do, wanted to quickly mention that we have joined the Big Heads Media Network. Go check out tons of awesome podcasts on bigheadsmedia.com.
Big head, big head, big head.
All right. Let's get into the Europa League. So, guys, what happened in the Europa League for your perspective? I mean, so Chelsea won the match 4-1. We'll dig through kind of what happened, but Matt, your overall thoughts on the match.
Yeah, so the first half was about as boring of a soccer game as I have ever seen. it didn't seem like a European final, let alone like a Premier League match. It was like a championship match. I feel like I was watching. Tackles were flying in. I don't think there was any yellow cards in the first half. There was just a bunch of tackles. There wasn't a lot of possessing of the ball. It didn't look great. It was pretty sloppy. So do you want like my full game or just kind of early match?
Yeah, let's start early match first half first.
Yeah, so that's just kind of what I thought of the first half. It wasn't spectacular.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty disjointed, sloppy. I thought it was interesting that Maitland-Niles was the only English player on the pitch to start the game, and I think pretty much throughout, if not through the entire game. So that was an interesting piece of commentary. Christian, I know you didn't watch the match, but did you see the call on Lacazette?
Really just gonna call me out here. I did see the call. So was it given in the highlights? They show that it was not given as. Am I yelling?
No.
Oh, sorry, Dave went like this. So
no. I'm just adjusting my headphones. I'm trying the wireless headphones, getting brain cancer as we podcast. So I'm just let's go.
That's not funny.
Well,
okay, keep going.
Okay. Well, it was funny. Now I just completely lost my train of thought.
Penalty kick. It was not given.
It was okay. So it wasn't given, but then did VAR overturn it and give it as a penalty?
No.
Because that's what the highlights showed. So I don't know what was going on with the video that I was watching, and it was a VR official highlight video. So do you want to explain what happened there?
Do you want it? Or?
Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so I think the controversy with this one was that it was too fast of a VAR decision where they just said no without really looking at it. Because they didn't stop the game at all for this, from what I remember.
Yeah,
right?
So to provide a little bit of context, in the first half, Lacazette was played in behind. He collects the ball, and he's trying to round Kepa, the Chelsea keeper. He touches it by him, and Kepa sort of hits his head into Lacazette's feet. Now, it was very light, and Lacazette was kind of already going down, but that's sort of to set the stage there. The ball goes out, I believe, for a goal kick. That's all the referee calls. So that is what happens.
Maybe that's what I saw him point for a goal kick. That's where I got confused. Okay.
I think it confused the announcers as well, because they originally thought he called a penalty, and then they backtracked off of that. For me, I'm okay with the no penalty decision. Again, it looked like Lacazette was going to ground early, and so I'm fine with the no call there.
Okay, so for me, I don't know if he was necessarily going to ground early, but he went to ground too easily. There was such a small amount of contact. I don't think it should have been a penalty. So I was fine with the call, but I don't think it was a dive in any. So it wasn't a dive because he was touched. So it should have been a yellow, but I think he could have stayed on his feet and just kind of lost track of the ball.
Yeah, and that's fair. And those plays happen in a soccer match. It's not always either a dive or a foul. There are those in-betweens. And so I think a lot of times people just want to.
It is a contact sport.
Yes. Yeah. And there are gray areas, Christian.
Yeah, I did see this play. So it does look like he got taken out. But the more you watch it and when you slow it down, it really isn't enough contact to really throw him off balance. And Kepa didn't get a touch on the ball at all, right?
No.
From what I saw, it didn't look like he did. So, I mean, I could see it being given, but I think it was correctly ruled out.
All right. And like Matt said, it was a pretty boring first half. The only other thing that I noted from my notes is that Giroud had a chance and kind of scuffed the shot to a certain extent. I mean, he got a decent amount of pace on it, and Czech got down really well to save it. But that was the only other moment from the first half.
Was Xhaka's shot in the first or second half? Early second.
I think that was early second, the one with his right foot that skimmed the crossbar.
Yeah.
I think that was.
Yeah, you're right.
I want to say it was when it was still either 1-0 or still 0-0.
0-0. Yeah, it was like really early on in the second half then.
Yeah, but sticking in the first half, that was the only other thing that I noted. I thought it was good to see both those players kind of getting involved. You didn't know how Czech was going to be. He's getting up there in age, and for him to make that save, I thought was a good sign for Arsenal. But that was the only other moment from the first half that I wanted to highlight. Christian, anything else you saw or wanted to highlight?
No, from what I saw, and this is strictly off the highlights of a 10-minute video, about a minute and a half was designated to the first half. So that shows you what it is.
That was probably a minute too long as well. Matt, anything else you wanted to highlight?
Nope.
All right, let's get to the second half. So second half starts, and like Matt said earlier, or Christian, why don't we go to you first and get your thoughts based on the highlights that you saw?
For the second half? Or just
Yes.
specifically the first
No.
goal? Okay. Well, it looked
Second
like
half.
Chelsea completely dominated the game. I didn't see the flow of play, so I don't know what the possession statistics or anything were, but who cares about what the possession statistics were? Chelsea absolutely walloped Arsenal in the second half. And the fact that it was 0-0 at half still just shocks me that the game ended 4-1. Arsenal just looked like they were in second gear and never really woke up. Hazard just broke into life in his last half, probably as a Chelsea player, and 2 goals and an assist. He was on fire. And Giroud, again, was very influential in that game. At least a goal and an assist, if not another assist. I can't remember if he had another one.
Yeah, just for reference, the final numbers were 50-50 on possession, but Chelsea was definitely the dominant team in the second half. Matt, your thoughts on the second?
Okay, so I think Christian was spot on with saying Hazard really broke out, and I think it was just very clear that he was the best player on the pitch. After halftime, he couldn't really get many touches in the first half. Second half, he just completely dominated. I think Arsenal, it was weird because I thought they possessed the ball pretty well, and then were getting forward. And then once their forwards got the ball, they would take really bad touches. And then from that, Chelsea would just have a counterattack. And the defense for Arsenal would just be out of sorts. And I think that's what caused a lot of problems for Arsenal and what led to a couple of the goals. So I think it was a bit of a breakdown from the attackers, which led to bad defense, because I feel like the defense is going to get blamed for a lot, but I think because the strikers couldn't create those chances or make anything of anything, it was just put way too much pressure on the Arsenal defense.
Yeah, and
so that's kind of what I noticed.
I thought Arsenal really lacked width in their attack. They were playing a 5-3-2 kind of formation, and they were really kind of tasking, I think it was Kolasinac and Maitland-Niles to really get forward. Yeah. And it wasn't working whatsoever. The other thing that really wasn't working was Ozil the whole match. He did not have a good game. He was not influential. He's a player that needs to be on the ball a lot more, and I can't recall too many touches, particularly in the second half, where he even had touches and influenced the game in any way. So that was disappointing to see from an Arsenal standpoint. Christian.
Though one thing I want to note about this game was all of Chelsea's goals looked like they were just Arsenal elementary mistakes, and the one Arsenal goal was absolutely brilliant from Iwobi, just a straight up volley from 20 yards out. It was very, very nice. And for a second, you were like, oh, wow, this could be an interesting game here. It could come back a little bit. But what is it? 3 minutes later, Chelsea scored the fourth, and it was just not a good game. It was bad.
Agreed. Now, Chelsea's first goal comes from I believe it was a giveaway by. Oh no, that's the second goal. But the first goal comes after ball squirts wide to Emerson. He gets a little bit of space, crosses it in. Giroud makes a good run across the front of, I think it was Koscielny.
It was Koscielny.
Yeah, yep. And Giroud, just vintage Giroud, can kind of get those near post headers. Really like his game. So that was a great play by them. Any thoughts on the first goal, Christian?
Yes. I thought that Giroud did an excellent job of making the run, but to finish from there, he was falling to his knees. That's an incredible, difficult header to put on target, and to put it past check that is really, really difficult technique.
Matt, thoughts on the first goal?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame anybody on Arsenal for that. Maybe close down the crosses, because that's kind of what you're supposed to do as an outside back, or center mid. You get out there, close down. Don't make the crosses don't make the crosses so easy. But I'm not blaming Koscielny for not marking. He marked Giroud, and he just barely got in front. Had an incredible header to the near post, low and hard. So there's no one you can blame for that.
Yeah, agreed. Second goal comes after Maitland-Niles giveaway. This happened on 2 occasions, because the fourth goal kind of comes from a similar situation where Arsenal was looking for a foul or was just weak on the ball, and they gave it away in their own sort of defensive third, definitely own defensive half. And Chelsea just has almost a simple counter from there. Hazard waits, plays it across, and then easy tap in for Pedro. Matthew, what'd you see on that second goal?
Yeah, so one thing before I explain the goal, I think both teams were weirdly passing the ball in their own box. Like when they're playing defense, the defenders were playing a lot of risky passes and losing the ball pretty often, which is like, it wasn't like when Man City does it, where they're like pretty composed doing it. Like they were playing like really risky passes in their own penalty area. I think both teams were throughout the whole game.
Well, I think that comes from both managers wanting to play that type of style, but this is their first season. They don't have their players in yet. And so they're trying to implement that style with players who maybe can't do that. So that would be my response.
Okay. All right. So for the second goal, I mean, it was just an overload of attackers. The Arsenal midfields couldn't really get back at that rate. So Hazard just played a really simple ball across. Pedro, nice finish. I'm not blaming Czech. The center backs, when you have they played 3 center backs, right, with Monreal. Okay. So yeah, it's just hard to know who exactly you're picking up in, I think, a 3-back system or a 5-back technically system. So Pedro just kind of got lost behind Giroud because everyone was focusing on him, and he had pretty much a simple finish. So again, it was just, you can't make those mistakes as the outside back.
Christian, thoughts on the second goal?
I don't know. I kind of fault the center backs as well. You can't say that at a professional level who train to play this formation, to prepare for Chelsea in this game, they don't know who they're supposed to be marking. These center backs know what they're doing, and Pedro is just 100% free. I know it's the midfielder's fault for turning over the ball where they did, but no, someone has to step to Pedro there. It was a scuffed finish as well. I think it was a good finish for what it was. I think it was a tough finish, but it just, I think someone's got to get to it quicker. I think they have to step to it. I think Hazard played a really good ball, and Giroud, I think he did like a step over or left it. I don't really remember. I know it went by him, but yeah, the Pedro finish was definitely scuffed, and I don't blame Czech in any way. I think the center back should have stepped up faster.
All right, fair enough. It goes 2-0 to Arsenal, and then the announcer says, "Surely it's over." That is one of my biggest pet peeves. I mean, this one, it actually ended up working out that way, but it is such a pet peeve when it's the 50 or maybe early 60th minute, and the announcer says it's over when there's 30 minutes of soccer still to be played, and momentum can change relatively quickly. So I just wanted to highlight that. Again, it ended up being the case and true in this instance, but it drives me crazy when announcers do that. So I wanted to call him out for doing that. Shortly after that, Chelsea goes up 3-0. Great driving run by Kovacic. And I thought Pedro waited too long to play that ball out wide to Giroud, but ultimately he didn't, and it ended up working out for him. And Giroud gets fouled from behind, and Hazard finishes the penalty. Christian, thoughts on the goal? Was it definitely a penalty? What'd you think?
So when I first saw this, I think it took me 3 replays to say, oh yeah, no, that is a penalty. It did look light on the contact, and I really wasn't sold on it. But yeah, from certain angles, you can tell he clearly bodied him and took him down. So it was just naive defending, honestly. There's no reason for it. I think that ball was going to go by Giroud. If not, he was going to have a really tough angle to shoot. So there's no reason to foul him in that position.
And was it Maitland-Niles that committed the foul?
It was Maitland-Niles, I believe.
He had a rough game, unfortunately, for him. Matt, what were your thoughts on that play?
Yeah, it was a clear penalty. Like you said earlier, I was like losing my mind that Pedro was not just playing Giroud, and he was so open for so long. He took like 3 touches, I want to say, before he eventually played it over. But yeah, clear penalty. Nothing more to really add.
Yeah, underrated on that whole play was Kovacic making that run. The announcer was calling him Hazard because he kind of looked like Hazard while he was doing it. And so I wanted to call him out because he had a couple of runs like that in the game and did a good job of just driving forward. And so good on him. They go up 3-0, and then Iwobi hits that wonder goal. Matt, thoughts on Arsenal having that daylight of possibly getting back into the match?
Yeah, so at 3-0, I think it was pretty much over. I left the bar at 3-0 to go back home. I thought it was completely over. I mean, they got the goal, but I still didn't think they ever really had a shot at this game. I mean, it's good that they got a goal, but I still didn't think, at 3-0 at that stage, and the way that they kind of made mistakes from the back, it was just not their day.
Yeah, and the goal comes off of Arsenal set piece. It kind of gets semi-cleared, and then Iwobi hits just a half volley, just rocket, and that's how the goal comes about. Christian, any thoughts on Arsenal's goal?
Well, I first want to say, yes, Matt was drunk at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday at the bar. That was what he said.
I don't have people.
Yeah, the Iwobi goal was by far the best goal of the game. It was incredible to watch this volley to the far corner. I think the last goal for Chelsea was a different kind of team play goal.
Yeah, depends on what
Yeah.
your preference is for what.
Yeah, I mean, they're cool, but I like Iwobi's goal better. It was just power, precision, and really, really just individualistic technique there.
Banger. Yeah, absolutely. Shortly after that, Arsenal, boom. Arsenal gets dispossessed, is what I referenced earlier. Aubameyang just, again, looking for the foul and trying to do too much in his own half. It just goes down way too easily. Chelsea collects the ball, driving run by Hazard, lovely ball out to Giroud, who just definitely chips it back to him. I mean, we've highlighted on this podcast numerous times, but I think Giroud is so underrated, and that pass by him was fantastic and easy finish for Hazard. Christian, thoughts on Chelsea's final goal?
Yeah, it was very, very nice. Just counterattack, and I don't know what Aubameyang is doing in the midfield there. You cannot turn the ball over in that position. Right when you have some momentum as a team, to just give up a goal like that completely dissolves any hope, and it looked like it from that point forward. It looked like Chelsea had chance after chance towards the end of the game, and you can't let those mistakes happen. I think that goal is very, very nice. I'll give credit to Hazard and Giroud for creating it in a 2-on-3, I think, situation. So they took advantage of they didn't even have the numbers. They took advantage of a poor situation, actually. But to have that counterattack, Hazard and Giroud, just precision in the passing there, and fantastic goal.
Matt, thoughts on the final goal?
Yeah, it was nice. Like what you said, Giroud, he's very underrated. My one thing is, like the media made such a big deal about the Higuain and Sarri situation going into this game, and it's like Higuain had no influence, and they made it seem like this team was falling apart. But again, it's like they handled it extremely well, and having strikers with the experience of Giroud or even Higuain is great for a team like Chelsea. But I will say, okay, what are you saying?
Are you talking about the training ground bust up, or what do you mean, the situation?
Yeah. So, yeah, there was two. There was one before they got to Azerbaijan, and then there was one when they were still in London, where Higuain got really mad at a bunch of teammates, and then the other one where Sarri stormed off the field, and they were acting like it was like the biggest deal, and it turned out to be nothing, and Chelsea was fine. That's just another thing I wanted to highlight.
Fair enough. The only other thing I wanted to highlight, I wanted to highlight two more things, but the last thing I wanted to highlight for the game is that Willock came on for Arsenal. I thought he looked pretty lively and unbalanced the Chelsea defense a couple of times. He was a little bit, I'm trying to think of the right word, all over the place is what I'll call it, where, he looked like just some of his touches weren't the greatest, but he was causing a little bit of mayhem and a little bit of chaos. And if he can settle down and get his touches cleaner, he's someone to get excited about. But I thought other than him coming on, Iwobi had a slightly good impact as well. But overall, just Chelsea was the dominant side, deserved this win here. Christian, anything else you want to say from the game?
Nah.
Matt?
Nope.
I do want to congratulate Maurizio Sarri. We retweeted this from our account, but this is his first major trophy. And for someone who's worked incredibly hard and sacrificed a lot, we retweeted a video of him just like holding his medal and looking at it. Really just heartwarming. And so it was really cool to see that. And so it's always nice to see kind of the human side of all of this. So congrats to him.
Was coaching anyone but Chelsea.
Okay. And Christian doesn't have a heart. There it is. Guys, do we want to do an official break and put music in, or do we just want to roll through this and you guys do the stadium scene plug real quick? Keep it rolling. Do the stadium scene plug as we go along. Christian, go ahead.
Check out our friends over at Stadium Scene if you're going to any stadium in the US or Canada. This is not specific to soccer. This is all sports. I know, Matt, I stole your piece. So you should check them out if you're going, because they have information on where to park near the stadium, what bars and restaurants to go to, what events are happening in the area, and all that good stuff. Matt, what else do they got?
They also partner with content creators like ourselves and offer you things like podcasts, YouTube videos, blog posts, all that great stuff. Like you said, it's not just specific to soccer, it's all sports, North American. So again, check them out at stadiumscene.tv.
Great job, guys, and hopefully Matt's internet starts acting okay again.
Yep,
But we
I heard that too.
We heard most of it though, so we think you got it there. Moving to the Champions League final, so switching over to that side of things, we have Tottenham facing Liverpool in Madrid, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, June 1st. What channel is it officially on? Is it on TNT? Wow, they're not putting
Is
it
it
on.
Not on CBS?
So FUTMob has it just on TNT right now. So that is
okay.
Interesting to me. I would have thought they would have tried network, but maybe it might be on CBS here. But Christian, what do you expect to happen in this match?
Well, I want to give out a shout out to one of our viewers right now that wanted Matt to know, or wanted to ask Matt, what will City be doing on Saturday?
Celebrating 3 trophies. What are you guys
All right. Well, I just was asked to ask you, so that's what I am doing.
How many trophies did you guys win this year?
We have maybe one.
What's happening in this
We'll
game?
See. So what's happening in this game is Liverpool are going to play Tottenham. So it's going to be a very, I think, attack-minded game. I think it's going to be really free-flowing. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of goals because both teams are pretty sound defensively, but I think both teams also have creative forces, and especially with Harry Kane coming back, I think Tottenham are weaker, obviously, like I've said in the past, but I think he, by himself, just adds a dimension which draws your focus. So I
is
think
he officially back? Like, have they announced that?
They haven't announced officially, but he's pretty much announced it himself, saying I'm good to go.
And is he going to start?
I don't know if he's going to start. I think that he will, and I know Firmino is back to start as well. So I think pretty much full lineups are going to be ready to go for both teams.
Matt, what are you expecting from this one?
Yeah, so Liverpool is definitely the favorite. I'm expecting some goals in this, just with the way Liverpool plays and the way Tottenham has kind of been playing it, especially at the end of the year. If they want to stay competitive, their defense, I don't think has been there, but their offense has definitely seemed like they're going to score some goals. So I think there's definitely going to be some goals in this fixture. Liverpool, I think, will win, but Tottenham, I mean, do make it this far, it's one game, they definitely have a chance. I'm not writing them off, but they definitely have a chance.
Yeah, I'm also not convinced that there are going to be goals. I think both teams have somewhat talented attackers, but this is what, the third, fourth time they're playing each other this season. They play each other every year. They're very familiar with each other. I think that there might be a lot of nerves on both sides. I think that Liverpool, this is their second Champions League final in a row. It's kind of a lot of pressure on them to get this trophy where they had an incredible season, but they didn't get a trophy so far. Matthew.
Yeah, so my counterpoint to that was I think there will be nerves, but both teams, their strong points kind of are their attackers. So I think the nerves will come from the midfield players, which will make mistakes. Even some of the defenders. I mean, I know Van Dijk is solid, but I mean, I think both teams are definitely going to be prone to mistakes. Liverpool's got some young wingers or young defensive outside backs. I think it's going to favor the attackers in this match.
See, I disagree because I've seen Mane, I've seen Salah when they're kind of a little bit nervous, just take poor touches, and so even Firmino to some extent,
take more touches than they usually should. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and so I'm not completely sold on that. Again, I'm speaking more from my knowledge of Liverpool than I am necessarily from Tottenham. And then on the Tottenham side of things, I mean, this is the biggest game most of these players have played in their careers outside of, Lloris winning the Champions League final. Did Dembele play in
the World Cup final?
That's what I meant. I meant World Cup, not Champions League, obviously. Yeah. Did Sissoko play in that final as well?
Yeah, but I mean, did
he play?
All the English players and all their Belgian players played in World Cup semifinals. So I think they have still experienced some sort of pressure.
Yeah, I know, but it's different at the club level, and
Definitely.
It's different because there's so much competition. I mean, this is the first time Tottenham has been in a European final, I think since the 80s, and if not the 60s. So this is a really big, important deal for both sides. And again, I'm circling back to there's a lot of talent on paper, but I think this is going to be more nervy than people expect. I certainly am rooting for more goals, but I think it might be a little bit tighter than people expect. Christian.
I think that the number one thing that might make the difference in the end, So yeah, I'm being real definitive here. I think it comes down to the experience of Liverpool making the final last year. I think that will calm down the midfielders like Matt was talking about. And I think Tottenham have a great starting lineup. They have a really talented team. Their depth is an issue. And late in the game, if it's close, obviously is different. But their midfield is not what Liverpool's is in terms of just sheer work horses. Like, they're incredible. They complement each other really well between, I think, Henderson and Fabinho. Yeah, it just having them, and then I guess either Keita or Ox or Milner, whoever it is, or Wijnaldum. I don't know who's actually.
Is Keita's back?
Probably out for this game, but like all those other people rotate in there, and they all fill that role. And I think they all have different skill sets, so it depends which one is actually going to play. But yeah, I just think that midfield is going to be very calm because they have been here, and it's a different. I think they're going to get the last year out of their head, and they're just going to be prepared for this occasion.
I certainly hope so. I ultimately am predicting this one to finish 2-1, all 3 goals coming in the second half. Liverpool goes up 2-0, and then Tottenham pulls one back to make things nervy at the end. Matthew, you look like you were laughing or had something to say while Christian was talking.
When he was talking about just like the experience, I just like had like a flash of this Twitter picture of Klopp talking to Alisson, just with a quote, like a Twitter quote saying, and then he literally threw the ball at Benzema.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Started dying as he was talking about the experience. So hopefully Alisson does not do that this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year was 2 clear goalkeeping errors where that game was tied. So there you go.
It's a good point. Matthew, did you give an official prediction here?
I will say Liverpool 3-2.
Wow, a lot of goals. I'm saying 3-1. Liverpool wins, and I agree. They go up 2-1. Tottenham score, and then Liverpool seal it late.
Say a lot of goals to me, and say 3-1 after.
I mean, 5 is more than 4. Quick maths.
Oh, hey, we're Liverpool brothers. Oh my god. All right, guys. Anything else that we didn't cover? We didn't really go over what we were going to talk about on this. So, anything else that you guys wanted to talk about?
No. Oh, so okay. So when you brought up history, do you think history like matters that much to the players, other than like you're saying like the clubs? Like when you're going into this, do you think Tottenham's like, oh my god, this is our club's biggest match ever, or do you think
feel the atmosphere of your fans who haven't seen this happen before, and they're just so excited and like over the top, like, oh my god, we're here, I can't believe it. Where Liverpool have been there multiple times in this decade. I think this is their 4th.
But I mean, the only people on that team are the ones that went there last year. Like, oh damn, are we gonna lose again? And welcome trophy list. Like, I think it's a lot of pressure on them, whereas Tottenham have no pressure.
I don't know if they have.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if they have no pressure. But Matt, to go back to your question, I don't think history matters if you go back to like the 70s or 80s. I know I referenced that earlier, but I referenced that just from the perspective of Tottenham hasn't played in any of these finals. Liverpool has played in the Europa League final and then the Champions League final over the last 2 years. And so I think while it hasn't gone their way, I think that experience can be valuable. It can weigh on them and it can create a bit of nerves, but I would rather have that experience. And so the players know what to kind of expect from these matches versus Tottenham going in and having, veteran players who maybe haven't been there before and, don't know how it's necessarily going to go. I mean, switching gears a little bit and talking about like NFL football, players talk all the time about the Super Bowl is a completely different experience than a normal NFL game. And, from the theatrics before the match, the halftime's a little bit longer. And so it's not an exact comparison, but you can kind of take that same logic and apply it here where this game is bigger than just a normal game. I know managers and players are going to say it's just another game, but there are elements, there's more media, there's more attention, and all of that does play a role here.
Yeah, but I mean, you bring that up and then the Eagles beat the dynasty of the Patriots, where we have a bunch of first-timers and an inexperienced team, an experienced coach, and things like that.
I'm not saying it works every time, but I'm saying more often than not, the Patriots are winning, right?
It's also because they're better, but okay.
Well, why are they better? They're more prepared and they're more experienced in those situations.
Okay.
Boom. face. Christian, you had something you wanted to say.
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really mention this, but I think the fact that these two teams have played twice already this season comes into play. And I think you're right that the first half might be very cagey because they're going to try and figure each other out. And they both are going to have plans set up because they know each other so well. It's going to be really interesting to see what type of tactics are used because they have played the same way and Liverpool won twice already.
That is a really good point. And I will say Klopp does a pretty good job of in-game tactical adjustments, but Mauricio Pochettino, I believe, is better. And so his in-game tactical adjustments are something to watch out for here because he is very quick to recognize what's going on and quick to make adjustments. So he won't sit on it. He'll make adjustments if need be. So that's a really good point to call out there.
Thanks.
You guys are bringing up just them playing before. City beat Tottenham 3 times this year and lost once and then didn't go through. I don't think playing them before has anything to do with
it. Definitely changed the tactics. Each of those games was very different.
Exactly. So you're saying they played before, so it matters. So I don't think it does because when they get on the field, things are just going to go wrong and their tactics are going to blow up in their face. And
I'm saying it's going to be interesting as a viewer to see how they tactically set up. I'm not saying it's going to impact the game, but none of the games are going to be similar, obviously, because each time you play, you have different players, you have different situations. So Tottenham versus Liverpool early in the season, Liverpool won 2-1 on the road, I believe, and they won, was it 1-0 or 2-1 again at home? It was 2-1, I think, in both games. So it's been very, very cagey events, and I just think this is going to be a completely different game again. It does matter how they set up.
Well, and also getting back to what I was saying it matters because the in-game, every match has different situations that crop up, and then managers need to make tactical adjustments throughout the game. And so that's why I think it's very important to watch that. That's what
I think it's kind of, I would say it's kind of funny that both teams, I feel like, come out very, very slowly in games. And like you said, they both make tactical decisions during the game. I don't think they score very early in any games. And specifically Tottenham, when I watch them, they don't seem very good. And Pochettino definitely makes changes during the game, which changes and it just improves the team every single game that I watch. Klopp, on the other hand, I think Liverpool do start a little bit better, but still the second half, they're always significantly improved from the first half.
Good point. Matt, anything else you want to add?
Tottenham scored 2 goals in 10 minutes at the Etihad. That's the last point I'll make. I just don't think this is a predictable game. Okay.
Well, we're going to make a prediction because that's our job right now.
That's why I'm saying it's going to be high goals because there's not going to be tactics there.
Okay. Good.
All right. As you guys no tactics.
I respect your thoughts.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I respect them, but you have them, and so we'll see what happens from the game.
But you have them, so good job.
You have them. I don't know how you can possibly say there's not going to be tactics or tactics don't matter. I maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying, Matt.
Like the way they line up, like you're saying they're going to feel each other out or they know how each other play. I just think that's BS. Like that's just not how. Like
when telling me you wouldn't rather play against somebody you
take advantage of when an opportunity comes. When the opportunity comes, like it doesn't matter when it is in the match or what's going on before or after it.
But if
you have,
go ahead. If you have experience of playing against an opponent, you can work to create those opportunities, Matt. When you have familiarity, when you've studied a team, when you've played against someone and know their tendencies more often, you can create those opportunities. It's not to say that the game is going to go exactly how it went in the past, but having more familiarity with a team, with a player, gives you an advantage, or it creates a different dynamic. It may or may not give you an advantage, but it creates a different thought process. And there is more to it than just, it's not going to go exactly how it went previously. Yeah, no shit. But it is going to make things interesting. And there will be differences in things that you can use because you have experience with teams. Christian, you had something to say?
Nope. Good job.
Okay. All right. So we'll see what happens. I think it'll be an interesting game. Matt, I always love when you're combative and talkative. I think it creates great discussion. So I don't want to squash,
but
what you're saying.
So.
No.
You guys are talking. You guys are thinking about league tactics. You're not thinking about Champions League final tactics, and maybe that's
it makes a difference. Your tactics after you played someone already.
You don't respond. You don't respond to someone's tactics. You win. You go to win the game. That's
yes,
the only thing
you do definitely respond to other people's tactics. What do you mean? Literally, all Pep does is look at what other teams do before he plays them in every single game he ever plays. Like
we
he's just focusing on tactics
every single time.
Oh my god. Okay.
What are you talking about?
All he does is focus on his tactics, and that's all. Everyone he ever talks to, like anyone who ever says they work
with tactics. His tactics,
no,
not the
he definitely studies other people's. No.
I have no response to that.
All right. I like it when we don't have much of a structure. It creates a little bit more chaos, similar to Willock from Arsenal, tying everything back in. This has been fun, guys. Did you have a good time?
I did until that part. That was just such a bad little wraparound there. Oof.
I'm trying, guys. I'm still learning on the ropes here. Matt, did you have fun?
No, you guys know nothing about soccer or Champions League finals. You guys have never managed a Champions League final like I have.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Matt, the Champions League final manager. Okay. If you liked what you heard here, please consider leaving us a review wherever you're listening to us. iTunes reviews help the most. So if you're listening on iTunes, you liked what you heard here, it'd be great if you left us a 5-star review. We'd greatly appreciate it. Christian, can you tell people about our Slack channel real quick?
Yeah, check out Slack if you want to talk with us and other people in our chat room. So you come there and we have all these different topics, different channels, and there's the Premier League, all the other 5 top European leagues, MLS, League MX, international soccer, all that good stuff. Champions League. There you go. We have a Europa League one now, too. We're going to have one for the Women's World Cup that I believe was just created as well. So definitely tune in for that. And if you want to get involved, email us at bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com or tweet at us at BTSoccerPod, and we will get you involved.
Absolutely. Make sure you're following us at BTSoccerPod as well. Matt, can you tell people about our website?
Our website is www.brostalkingsoccer.com. There you can find past episodes, read about us, find YouTube videos. You can also find our store link, which will soon have merchandise. A new t-shirt idea is in the works. And you can also find our Amazon store link. It's no additional cost to you. It's just a few extra steps. It really helps support the show.
Yeah, so go check that out as well. And listeners, we thank you so much for being here. We record this thing live on YouTube, so make sure to check it out on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/bros talking soccer. Christian, thanks for being here.
Dave, thanks. Before we go, we should both hold up our little logos because we have both of them. We got the different ones. Look at that.
We got the simplified and then the
You'll never walk alone, viewers.
Crest. Yes, you'll never walk alone. Matt, thank you for being here and putting up with us.
Yeah, thanks. Hope you guys win your second trophy in 37 years or something.
All right. Always nice to get that zing in there. Listeners, again, thank you so much for being here. Anyone who has been with us and interacted with us on YouTube, we appreciate you being here. Alex specifically, thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you soon, everybody. See ya. All right. Cool. Alex, thanks again. We appreciate you being here, and go check out some of our other YouTube videos, and we'll be back with our podcast on Sunday. Christian, enjoy your bachelor party.
Thanks.